Okay, Ida, thanks for doing this with me. So I'm going to just ask you a few questions and you just tell me your honest answers. So, what inspired you to start practicing yoga, and how has your practice evolved since then?
Okay. When I moved here after retirement, I had dabbled in yoga in Calgary. And so that was one of the things that I was planning to do. And I joined you at Oceanside, and yeah. Um, and what it has given me is an extremely exciting reawakening to all the parts of my body. Like I say, Teresa introduced me to my feet because I never paid attention to my feet or my ankles or my flat-footedness and that sort of thing. And from there, I've just grown in my knowledge of and appreciation of my body.
So beautiful to hear. Yeah, I'm so touched by what yoga gives us. So, can you share a story about a time when your yoga practice helped you overcome a difficult challenge or obstacle in your life?
I would say that when the year that both my parents passed, the yoga was indispensable for me. It just kept me grounded. It made me know that other people, even though they weren't sharing my pain, they sort of carried with me.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, I'm still sort of touchy about that, but
Yeah. Yeah. I know, me too. Whenever I'm in like a difficult situation or emotions are overwhelming, it's like we can come to our practice and at least catch a breath
yeah.
or,
And
like
when
let
when
go.
Susan was struggling with her father, I hope she felt the support we were trying to give her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. And I would say we're extremely lucky in our specific yoga community because we just have the best people.
Yes.
We
And
really do.
yeah, well, and like this today when we were talking about your Toastmaster and that sort of thing, it was lovely, the little tidbits that everybody could offer into you.
No, everybody's so wise in our group, really.
Well, and I think we're trusting, and I think we're trusting and comfortable, and we really feel like a solid community.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's also such a powerful part of what's going on in our little community is that we feel safe. And it's actually when we feel safe that we can do some of that important healing work. Because otherwise, we're not, it's not available,
Yeah.
We're so lucky. Okay.
Indeed.
So how has yoga helped you improve your physical health, such as flexibility or strength or balance?
I would say, I guess my short answer to that was, after 12 years, I feel younger than when I started out.
Amazing. Yeah.
I have more energy. My health is better. Um, my doctor doesn't believe that at my age I have no medications.
Wow.
Yeah. And I recently went to a chiropractor, and I was sort of proud of the fact he couldn't believe how strong I was and how flexible.
Yep. Well, I've noticed, from when I met you to now, your flexibility is like, you are definitely younger in that sense, or more agile than you were when I met you. No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't sit on my knees. I couldn't sit cross-legged. Yeah, so many things. A pigeon was excruciating when I first tried it. And now I get I understand the what the pose is trying to accomplish. So
Yeah,
it's
and you
not
can do
agony
it.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so how has yoga helped you improve your mental health, such as reducing stress or anxiety? Or has it?
My husband says I'm a happier person.
Wow.
And I mean, I don't think I'm an introvert, but I tend to be more extroverted within the group, I think, because I'm not afraid to speak up and comment things. And that's the other thing. Everybody commenting or sharing their perspective is so valuable. I think that's how we get, new people to buy in, is because we're sharing, and we realize that sharing is part of the learning process.
Yeah. I think we've all learned that in our safe community that it's okay to be vulnerable, and that we actually all have valuable wisdom and knowledge and insights. And it's interesting, Ida, I wouldn't have even known that you were an introvert.
Oh, really?
Uh-uh.
Well, you see, that's how, but you got to go back 12 years to at the very beginning.
Yeah, I guess you have changed, or that when you're here in our practice, I guess you must feel comfortable, because I would never sense that about you. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, how about, can you share a story about a time when you felt a deep sense of peace or connection during your yoga practice?
Well, I guess one day at the hairdresser, I came across a woman who had just lost her husband, and she was really struggling with that. And I said to her, well, just go into Shavasana. And I couldn't believe that she hadn't come across, didn't know. Everyone in the room except her knew what Shavasana was. And it's such an integral part of the practice, but it's also gives you so much back at the end of the practice.
I got to interview my very first teacher. She's like 90 years old now. And I asked her what sold her on yoga, and that was it, Shavasana. She had gone to a class, and I think, it's such a profound moment at the end when we're given permission to rest and feel
everything that you've got, earned that day. Yeah.
Oh, I hear my dog barking. Let me yell at her. Okay, sorry, Ida.
That's okay.
Okay. Oh, this is just, we've already been talking about this, but I think this is still really an important question anyways. Yeah, we'll just do it, and just tell them I'm recording, please.
Yeah, thank you, Dad, for the stuff. Okay. Oh, of course. It's throughout the I'll let them know. Okay.
Can you hear that?
Perfect. Okay. I'll let them know.
Okay. How has yoga helped you connect with others and build meaningful relationships in your life?
Okay, as I said, when I first came here, I really felt the need to build a community. And between yoga and curling, I've met people and made really lasting friendships. And Zen said that yoga was the first time she felt at home here in Qualicum, which I thought was very sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I look to you guys, your group of friends that I think grew out of yoga classes. It's so beautiful, and it's far beyond what you do in yoga class. Like you guys, you meet for walks and you do gardening and you get together for birthday celebrations. I mean, it's really beautiful.
Well, and with the group, it's fun.
Yeah. I see that. It really is something beautiful. Okay, how about, can you share a story about a time when you were able to apply the principles of yoga off the mat in your everyday life?
Well, it's a bit of a silly example, but I practice yoga every time I'm standing in a line waiting for something. I try to not waste the time or waste it in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, use the time, right? To be body conscious. I love that.
Yeah. Well, and when I'm gardening too, we pay attention to staying hydrated and taking breaks so that our energy doesn't, we don't overexpend ourselves. And I mean, also being aware of our limitations as well and working within them.
Yeah, and I would imagine, especially when you're gardening, because it's so physical, that you definitely use some of those body principles, like being mindful of not compressing in your joints, or using your breath to kind of help you lift up. Or I mean, I find I'm doing that in my garden or in activities too.
Yeah.
How has yoga helped you cultivate a deeper sense of self-awareness and self-acceptance?
I guess just the continual talking about forgiving yourself, and it allows you to accept that you're not perfect and you are who you are, and be grateful for what you have. And I mean, in the community, we see others that are struggling through different things, and they're not complaining, and just makes you get on with life and enjoy what you can.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember even who triggered that idea, that because often at the end of practice, I say to the group, right, say something kind to yourself. I'm sure that wasn't my own idea. Like, I'm sure I got it from somewhere. I wish I could remember where I heard that. But I think I know for myself that has been like the practice of saying kind things to ourselves. Yeah, it's something that we have to learn, I think.
Yes, because my generation anyway, I think I was taught to look for fault within myself before I look for fault in others. And I try not to be critical of others' faults, because I know nobody's perfect.
And then now we're learning to do that for ourselves, right? But
and I mean,
go ahead.
I think it's like saying no. For me, was a very hard thing for a long time. But once I got comfortable saying it, I could say, pick and choose when you say no. Whereas at one point, if you asked me something, you'd never get a no out of me.
That's profound.
Yes. Well, that's it. And it's life lessons that 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 we learn.
Yeah, and I think in part, that comes through our practice because, and as much as people think yoga is about stretching, what ends up happening is when you do get on your mat and you're doing your movements or stretches or whatever you might call them, you're being asked to kind of quiet in, pay attention to your breath, and then we end up realizing what's going on inside. And then we get a choice. Like we see that sometimes we're hard on ourselves, or we see that we're overextended, or we see that we're building up resentment, or we see our fears or our anger or whatever it is. And once we become conscious of those things, then we're empowered to do something. Whereas often we don't even know what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And
the other thing is that I think my life is much more balanced than it was in the past, because I would go out of my way to please other people, whereas now I put myself first, and if helping somebody else will help me, then I go for it. And I mean, that's like with Heather. She's continually saying to me, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I say, well, Heather, I get something out of this too. I get to spend time with you. I get to see how your garden grows. It's a two-way street. And I think we sort of help each other stay balanced too.
Yeah. But the important piece I think you're saying is that you've learned to first take care of yourself, and then you do have this energy, and it's not, it doesn't cause resentment or feeling overextended or exhausted because you've already filled up your own bucket.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gosh, we'll get through a few more of these. They're such good questions, and your answers are just so good. So do you have a time limit, Ida? That you can...
No.
Okay. Let's do another, 10 minutes. We'll see how much we get through. Can you share a story about a time when you experienced a breakthrough or an aha moment during your yoga practice?
Back in the days when we were doing headstands, the awakening to the bottom half of my spine and your abdominal muscles, waking that up.
Mm-hmm. That's powerful too.
Yeah, and exciting.
Yeah. I think that's a really, I remember that feeling too, discovering like, oh, I have this connection to this place of power.
Yes. And it is very powerful.
Yeah. That we can access the strength. Yeah. I think I bet a lot of people have felt that. That's very, very powerful. How has yoga practice helped you become more mindful and present in everyday life?
I think it's the discipline of doing it and being aware. Because one of my father's favorite sayings was, keep it in the moment. When he said grace at night, one of his last sayings was, and keep me in the moment, Lord.
Wow.
And with our busy lives, it's hard to stay in the moment, be in the moment. And I think sometimes people just get carried away and maybe say things they later regret and that sort of thing. So life experiences are hard to juggle.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I would say when I hear you tell that story about your dad, it's like, I think, in the past, because maybe we weren't so distracted with the speed that technology has brought to our lives, that people inherently kind of knew that or had traditions or rituals like saying grace, sitting down with the family for dinner that would be those reminders. But it's like some of those things have dropped away with our modern living.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe yoga gives us that, is now the thing that we have that helps us remember. Like, I think, yeah, people used to know that more before.
Yes. Yes. And there were those, like you say, the rituals that reminded us.
The traditions, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for yoga. I mean, you've answered so much of these already. Really, your answers are phenomenal. Okay, how about this one?
Okay.
Can you share a story about a time when your yoga practice helped you cultivate greater resilience or perseverance?
No, I really can't.
Okay, then how about this one? And if you can't, also, that's okay. I mean, you already answered that. How has yoga helped you find greater balance and harmony in your life? So I won't ask that, but how about this one? How has your practice helped you find greater meaning and purpose in your life?
I think it's helped me with my curling, in that I'm giving back, and I'm enjoying giving back. And yeah.
Would you say, when I hear you say that, do you think that in part because your practice has made you realize you are strong and you do have gifts, that's given you the confidence to kind of share them?
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I'm not a natural teacher, so for me to get out in front of people, but I've had so many people come back to me and say, "Oh, you were so nice, you were so patient." And it's really just me sharing my joy of the game. And I mean, if anybody asks me anything, I say, try yoga. And I say, if you don't gel with the teacher, try another teacher. Search until you find a teacher that you gel with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Whenever anybody writes, I always say that, like, yeah, and if this doesn't work, keep trying, keep looking, because everybody will find the style or the, just the right time or the right place.
Well, and it's just like in school. Sometimes, if you didn't have different teachers, you wouldn't know a good teacher from a bad teacher.
That's right.
So yeah. But, and as long as there's a connection and community, then it'll carry you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, I think the questions, I mean, we've gotten through so many and so many great answers. Is there anything else you want to add about your yoga experience that I didn't ask, or that you wanted to share?
Well, no, other than I just love what you're doing, and love that you're growing and we're growing with you. And thank you. I feel very blessed to have you in my life.
Me too, big time. Yeah, we're all learning and growing together. That's what I also love about our community, is just, I think each of us recognizes, like what you said, when none of us are perfect, and we kind of give each other permission to be where we're at, and really encourage each other to just consistently grow and evolve, and we're rooting for each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ida. Thank you. I hope you have a fantastic day.
I shall. And the sun is shining.
I know. I hear we're going to have great weather all week. So yay to that.
Indeed. Okay.
Okay.
So, see you Wednesday.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Okie doke.
Bye for now.
Bye bye.